Hey mamas, I'm Lacey, your lactation counselor, and you're listening to the Early Motherhood Guide podcast, where motherhood is simply supported. Today, I have the opportunity to talk to Brenda Kea. Why don't you introduce yourself?
Hey, everybody. My name is Brenda Kea, and I am a new mom. And I breastfed for 9 months. And I was able to, after, freezing and stuff like that, I had enough for like 11 months. So, yeah, that is
A
me.
great freezer supply, which is awesome.
Yes, yes, yes.
One of those like Facebook group pictures of like your freezer completely stocked.
You know what? I don't have a cute picture, but I need to get one. Yeah. So yes, I'll discuss that. But yeah, I'll get another picture for sure
Yes.
because that's my plan.
Yeah. Okay. So tell me, how did it start? How's the beginning, your fertility journey to begin with?
So actually, which I do like to share, and I'm very like open about this. If anybody ever has any questions, please don't hesitate to DM me at all. But I realized after trying for like 6 months that I wasn't getting pregnant. So I just just making a long story short, I happened to just randomly be talking to like a family friend, and she
Mhm.
was like telling me like Clomid helped her, get pregnant and whatnot. And her children are in college right now. So mind you, like we were just randomly talking. And so I was like, So I happened to call my doctor and I was like, hey, can you call me in a prescription for this? And she did, and I still love her I love her to this day. But she just did it like she didn't, ask any questions. And I know I was about to come on my cycle because you're supposed to take the medication 3 days into your cycle.
Right.
So it's 5 pills. And I took that and boom, I got pregnant. Like
Oh my.
literally right like that. Yeah. And it's still considered like a fertility medication, right? So I did, need that help, but I didn't have to go like the IVF route or go see a specialist, which I did have an appointment to go see a specialist, and they were like booked for like months. Like
Yeah.
I think I called in June, and they were like, "Oh yeah, we can see you in January." I'm like, January. I'm trying to get, and mind you, I'm like 30, either was I 38, 30. Anyway, I had my first child at 39.
Yeah.
So, around, yeah, so I was what, yeah, I was actually, yeah, 39.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, and boom, I truly got pregnant off of that. And the second go round, which I was going to share later, but I was saying now, like it helped me again the second go round. So because we wanted to be back
Congrats.
to back. Yes, yes. So we
That's so
just confirmed yesterday. So it's been, so here I go again. And so I was like, I'm gonna have another picture again of my freezer
Yes,
stash
you
because
will.
yes, I'm doing that definitely again. But that's why I did have to end my journey a little bit early though, because I had to take the fertility meds, and you can't breastfeed and be on the meds. So it was really a tug in my heart because
Yeah.
I enjoyed breastfeeding. It was easy to me. Easy meaning, when I say easy, I mean as far as just even getting the milk, like wherever we were, I didn't have to worry like, okay, let me prepare the bottle,
Yeah.
ahead of time and things like that. Like, no, it was just like, boom, I'm the supply. He's never gonna like be without me like that. So, you know, so that was, I would say that was my fertility journey. So
And
yeah,
what
and
an amazing experience to really just cut out a lot of heartache, right? Because somebody else has shared their experience, and then you're like, hey, maybe I can try that too. I mean,
mhm,
imagine if you hadn't talked to her and she didn't share then you would be having to wait that long just to have something that was such a simple fix to help you. Wow, like that is incredible.
absolutely. I'm telling you, and like that's why I share that with people because and no, if you have to do IVF, because I do have friends that have gone through that journey because they've had to, because they did try, the medication first. But if you don't have to go, because it's expensive, and my insurance, they covered it. Like my pills were free.
Nice.
And again, it's only like five. And then after that, you start getting busy. Like, and you don't have to, I didn't follow an ovulation calculator, but I literally, like, after the 5 days, my doctor was like, start doing what you do. And
Yeah.
then, boom. And like it happened. Now,
Nice.
granted, I pray that that's everyone else's success, but you don't always have to, like I said, go the more expensive route.
Yeah.
Hopefully, but I know some people do. And my heart does go out to them on that. But I definitely want to let you know, try that first, and there's another medication that I did try this second time, but it didn't work. My friend was like, why don't you just do
Are you there? Oh, there, I got you.
Oh, okay, there. Okay,
So back to your thing,
I think
you tried a second medication.
yes. Oh, I'm sorry. That was my looks like it was my internet, but looks like we're back.
Okay.
But yeah, so I did try another medication. It's called letrozole. That didn't work. They're kind of they say they're kind of like similar, but Clomid worked for me.
Okay.
So
How interesting. And so how was that pregnancy?
so that pregnancy was amazing. And mind you, I told you I'm an older mom, and this go around I'm 40. So I just turned 40. So I'll be 40 years old. Again, I always say if that's what you want to do, it doesn't matter the age either. My first pregnancy, it was amazing, except I got hit with gestational diabetes. That hurt my core. Yeah.
Oh, uh-huh.
Because I thought I was just gonna be fat and sassy, sitting on the couch eating everything, right? Because I'm eating for two, right?
Right.
So I'm like, oh yeah, I'm just want to eat. No, no. And then it's go around. They're like, your next visit, we'll see you. You'll have to take your sugar test. And I'm like, what?
Wow.
Yeah, I'm trying to, and I know, but you know what? At the end of the day, you're supposed to eat like that. So as my friend kept telling me it throughout that journey, but it was a little stressful. I'll tell you
Was
that.
it?
Eating, just yeah, because I had to stick myself, and then I ended up with insulin, and
Okay.
yeah, so that was that, But I'm hoping this go round I don't have to do that. But other than that, like I didn't have morning sickness,
Oh, good.
anything. Like even this go round, I don't have any morning sickness. I'm operating as usual. The only thing I did have the first time, and it was really light, was like nausea, but it wasn't horrible at all. Like all I did was I drank ginger ale. Like
Mm-hmm.
that's after a meal or something like that. That was it. It was nothing like crazy,
That's
but
amazing.
it was good. So I can't complain.
Yeah. How many weeks are you now?
I'm 6. I'm
Really?
very,
Yeah.
yeah, 6 weeks. Yeah. But I knew like, it's like I knew immediately this time it was different.
Yeah. I've had like right at 7 weeks, 7 or 8 weeks, it's like it hits me so hard. I'm so down.
Oh,
And so yeah, there is definitely some podcast recordings here. I was just like, I don't know how I'm gonna make it, but I made it.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
but yeah, you make it through when you have to, right? And so that's
Yes.
definitely nice. So are you do they have to do the test again? Do you necessarily have gestational diabetes again, or is that something that they still just test for just in
They
case?
Yep, they actually test for, and they test early.
Okay.
So last time I was tested at like 7 weeks.
Oh
I'm
wow.
sorry, no, not 7 weeks. I'm sorry, 7 months.
Okay.
This time I'm gonna be tested. So within like, yeah, in the next 4 weeks. So yeah.
It's the worst.
So I'm like, yes, hope. And then they'll do it again. I think it's 28 weeks. Yeah. I think it's
Okay.
28 weeks that they test.
Yeah. And
So
that test,
yeah.
when you do have it, so my first to go in a hospital that had a birth center floor, I had to do the more
Mm,
advanced test in case like if you failed the first test, and they just go straight to that test. And so yeah, it's like 3 blood draws and it takes hours.
yes.
It's awful.
Yes, it
It's like
is. It
3.
is. Tell me about it. It is. I'm
I know,
like,
I'm so
oh. Now the drink wasn't bad though. See, I
sorry.
was like, see, that's probably why I have the sugars because I enjoyed that drink.
Yeah.
I did. I had the red kind of. You have to get it cold though. You have to get it cold.
Oh, I remember I had it was like an orange, it looked like an orange soda, but it was so thick and
Mhm.
syrupy. And then the second, they didn't have the food coloring in it. And the third, they let me do orange juice, and that was probably the worst because I had to drink so much of it
Yes,
and you
all
had
at
to keep
once.
it down. And I was just like, I don't think I will ever choose orange juice again. It took years for me, like literally this like October was the first time
Oh,
I had. This is like 4 years later. I could actually drink orange juice again. Because yeah, so I wouldn't recommend that. But
yeah.
yeah, so how was that with your pregnancy? What did you have to avoid and like how did that feel?
Girl, I don't even look. I was like, I don't even it, you I want to say it's more like a keto diet. I definitely had to avoid carbs.
Yeah.
Like, and if I wanted to eat pizza, I had to stick myself with insulin.
Hmm.
I had to check my insulin every time I ate, even when I woke up. So it was like 4 times a day.
Wow.
I'm sorry, I had to check my blood sugar.
Yeah.
And then if it was like out of whack, I had to take insulin. And then I went up to like 50 units, which I think I started off at like 10. So
Okay.
as the baby got bigger, just it was just like my body just working over time. But yes, I had to avoid all the good stuff, like I and it's just it's about eating, just being careful and cautious and eating in proportions, right? Versus just eating how you want. Oh, and I had to avoid fruit. I had to eat it in moderation, and that
Yeah.
really hurt me to the core because that's like my favorite. Like I could tear up a bag of grapes in like 5 minutes. Like I love fruit, but they're considered carb, and I was like, what? I'm like, I thought this was supposed to be healthy. This is a healthy sugar. No, and of course I really couldn't have sweets. So like in my baby shower, I was like, I
Just
had to
stay.
eat like one slither of cake, and it was literally a slither. Okay. But it was all
Savor it.
for the good.
Just savor it. Just pay for it later. Oh man, that would be hard. My biggest craving this pregnancy is
Exactly.
oranges, like ice cold, like from the fridge oranges. And so I cannot imagine, like the only thing that makes me feel good, I cannot imagine being like, yeah, you can't have it. That would,
Exactly. So wait, you're pregnant
oh
again?
yeah, I am expecting my fourth.
Oh, look at that. Congratulations. And
Thank
wait,
you.
and so how far along are you?
I am 21 weeks, so I've just passed the halfway mark.
Oh, yes. Oh my goodness.
Hey,
Congratulations.
thank you.
Oh,
Yeah.
do you know the sex?
Actually, that's a great question. Do you find out? Did you
We
find out?
didn't know with the first one, but I did sneak. And I told him afterwards. He didn't want to know. He doesn't want to know for this one either. He
Do,
wants it to be a secret.
yeah. Are you gonna
Oh, I'm
find
gonna find. Oh, I'm gonna find out. Yeah, I'm
out?
gonna find out. I have
I
to.
was, I was the same way with my first three. I was like, this, I thought before I got pregnant that I would just wait because it sounds so fun. And then the second I get that positive test, I'm like, tell me what it is. What am I having? I need to know. So this time, it might be our last. And so I was like, I need to have that surprise. Like
Oh,
I have to do
maybe I
it.
should.
I'm so excited. Yeah.
Maybe I should. I should actually do right this time. Like,
And I would say, because if you have an expectation of it being one or the other, I would say just find out because you don't want to be shocked when you meet the baby that you did not picture. So I'm glad I found out with my first two because
Mhm.
I was convinced they were girls and I had two boys. And I thought that this baby that didn't exist. Like you completely made up this child that truly does not exist. And then, so by the third, I was like, I just need to know if I'm having three boys because I thought I'd have only girls. And so I was like, just let me be prepared. And so now I'm like, okay, it is what it is. Like, regardless, I know nothing. Like the idea, I have no intuition clearly on my children. So it is what it is. But I'm excited for the surprise. But it was
Oh.
helpful to know if you have an idea. I would say if you think you might get shocked, then definitely find out.
No, we don't care. We just wanna I know it's cliche, but we just want really like a healthy baby. And I
Yeah.
think just initially I just wanted to know. I did want a boy the first go around. And I got my boy. Look. But I no, it actually really didn't matter to him. He doesn't care at all. He could have I think he wants a girl. But you know what? But the only reason why I'm like I could do another boy is because we have everything. I don't have to
Hmm.
buy anything over. You know what I'm saying? Like we literally have all the clothes now and just, I don't have all the barrettes, as you know, as a woman, all the things we need. And I'm like, see, I don't even have to really comb his hair. Okay. Just
Yeah.
go out the door.
Yeah. But even if
So
you just have your mindset on what it is, not even if you want one or the other, it's just like if you call it a boy like the whole time and then you have a girl and you're like, oh, I did not. Who are you? You are not what I was expecting. So we call ours summer baby. Like that is just baby.
oh,
It is.
yes.
But yeah, everyone has casted their votes. And so me and my husband have no opinions, but the kids are very opinionated. They all have guesses. But yeah.
I have seen that and I think that is hilarious. I don't know if you saw the one with the two boys and it was a girl and she's like, no, I wanted a girl.
No.
She was like, no, she's like, I don't like brothers. It's
Yeah.
hilarious.
I
Yes.
feel like
Yes.
my boys will be okay regardless. Like they want another boy, but they'll be like they can comprehend that could be a girl. Whereas my girl, she's 3, she's like, it's not a boy. It's not a boy. She's like convinced that it's a sister. So I mean, who knows? We keep telling her, well, it could be a boy. It could. We'll
I
see.
know.
But yeah,
They're
it
so
is.
sweet.
Both are fun, whether you do you do the gender reveals and all that.
No.
No, I know. I
Mm-mm,
just give me
mm-mm.
let me know right now. I'm not waiting tomorrow. I'm
Yeah,
not waiting
yes.
an hour. Tell me what it is.
He truly found out when they were pulling him out of me. They were like, "Oh, it's a boy." That's
Yeah,
when he found out. Yep,
that's
and
so
that's how he wants to do the second one.
oh,
So
so fun.
he
That's
say, yeah, the doctors come. Well, he already said, and then the doctors, of course, they were like on his side. They were like, "It's really the only surprise you ever get in life." I was like, "Really, y'all are in agreement with this? I need to know."
yeah,
No, but I don't know. You're right. I may. I don't know.
yeah,
I know because I have to do the genetic testing, right? Because
yeah,
they consider me high risk.
yeah.
Um, so yeah,
It's
so
on
we'll
that
literally
email.
find out. Mhm.
So yeah, that would be easy. It would be hard to like see it in the email or like have that idea and not call it a he or she after that with your spouse. You know?
Actually, the results go to my sister, so we had to go to my sister.
Smart. Very smart. Okay,
So
so
yeah,
how did your delivery go?
it was interesting. And I went in with open mind. I did not go in saying, "Hey," I mean, I said, "Okay, yeah, I would like to do." And when I'm in natural, like I was open still to the epidural, but just having a vaginal delivery.
Yeah.
Well, that wasn't my case. I went in for my 38-week appointment. I also had to get on the stress test. I don't know if you had to do that as well as I think at 32 weeks, she started having me get on the stress test
Okay.
machine where they put like the pink band on the top and then the blue band, similar to when you're delivering, right? When you're in the hospital, but it measures, my contractions and then the baby's heart rate. But when I went, his heart rate kept dropping every time I had a contraction. And mind you, that was like the first time I ever even had a contraction because I was like, I don't even know what I'm supposed to be feeling.
Hmm.
And she told me to go to the hospital like right now. And I was like, huh?
Wow.
Like I was like, now?
Yeah.
And so yeah, and when I got there, they, had me on the monitor. And then they were like, well, we don't see what she was talking about, but either stay and I'm glad we did stay, but they were like, or you can, go and we'll see you next week. And I was like, no, we already taking care of the dog. I'm like, we have all the stuff here. Let's just do it now. We're just here. And yeah, and they kept monitoring him throughout the night. They did try to induce my labor because I was at zero. Like literally,
Yeah.
nothing was moving down there. Yeah, and so literally less than 24 hours. I would say 12 hours. They were like, you have to go for a C-section. I cried, but I only realized because I'm like, I didn't know what to expect.
Hmm.
And then it happened, and then there we were, and I was like, and like I never got the experience of actual delivery.
Yeah.
I guess, so to speak, of the 32 hours, 36 hours. But I always told God, I was like, I don't want to be in labor forever. Like if I go, I want to like, okay, maybe like 2 hours or something like that. All right, cool. So I guess he gave me my wish to be like, you probably would have been, like I said, I was zero dilated and everything, like nothing was moving. I was at
Yeah.
zero. So I guess he was like, here you go. So,
That's always
but yeah,
better.
overnight. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I was, but yeah, it was just like overnight as they were monitoring him, his heart rate literally kept going, dropping every time I had a contraction. So it was like he has to come out. So I'm thankful for that stress test. And of course my doctor for calling the shots on that.
Yeah.
Um, because she said I did ask her like after the family, like at my checkup or something. I was like, so what would have happened if we would have gone home? And she was like, unfortunately, you could have been without a heartbeat. And I was
Mhm.
like, oh yeah, well, I'm glad we made the right decision to stay and things like that. And with the next one, I'm just gonna do a C-section. I'm like, I know what to expect. And
Yeah.
then I feel like I'm still kind of fresh because he'll be one at the end of this month.
Yeah.
So the wound is still kind of like it's not like fresh or anything like that, but they usually tell you like wait 2 years and things like that. So I'm like, that's fine. Just get cut again and we'll keep moving. Like I'm not,
So is the 2-year wait, is that if you want to do a VBAC?
I do believe that they do
If you want,
suggest that. Mm-hmm.
okay.
Mm-hmm.
I do know some mamas that space it out like right when it's 18 months
Mm-hmm.
and they're like, or yeah, I think it was 9 months, somebody was saying, or it was like, okay, second and 9 months, I'm gonna start trying again because I think for the opportunity for a VBAC. But yeah, I think it would be hard, but at the same time, to not go through many, many hours of labor. How was your contractions like in those 12 hours?
That's what I'm like. I was asleep. Like it wasn't. They weren't bad at all. Like
Good.
I'm like I would. Oh, I don't even want to know what it is at what they said 8 centimeters. I'm good. So I'm
Mhm.
like, you know what? It probably worked out for the better. It probably
Yeah.
worked out for the better.
Was your plan to be all natural, or you said you were open to the
Oh
epidural?
yeah, I was open to everything. Yeah, I feel like I was going to go as long as I could,
Yeah.
and then, you know, then say, "Excuse me,
Yeah.
yeah, nurse," yeah, that type of thing. I think I need it now.
Yeah.
Yes. So that
So
was
how
my
did
plan,
that
but
so you went to the hospital, and from there you had did they start inducing you with anything? Did they give you
they
Pitocin?
did. They
Okay.
did. They gave me Pitocin.
Uh-huh.
Yes, they, but
And
it
then
didn't
the
do
heart rate
anything.
started dropping more, I'm sure.
Yeah.
That puts a lot of stress on baby.
Yes, it does. So he was like, "I'm ready."
Did you get an epidural with the Pitocin?
I no, I did not. I didn't get that until I went into the actual delivery room
Oh, okay.
that
You
the next morning.
Oh wow, you went a while.
Mhm.
Good for
Yes,
you. I had my
but I
when
was still
I
at
go,
zero.
you were so zero. Yeah, it takes a while.
Mhm.
Can you hear me okay? I see you now.
Okay. Okay, there we go.
Yeah.
Okay. So you said about the Pitocin. Yes, I had it for 12 hours.
Okay. So,
Mhm.
yeah, so when I had my first, I had a list of things that I was planning to do a natural birth. And I had a list of things that I was okay with if I had an
Mhm.
epidural. I said, okay, if I end up having Pitocin, that was one of them. I was like, I am okay with my saying I want an epidural. And if I went beyond, I said 24 hours. But now looking back, I don't think I could ever go 24 hours in labor.
Girl.
I was very fortunate. All of mine have been under 12 hours. So
Oh wow, that's
from first
good.
contraction to end, they've been pretty easy. When it comes to we say labor, it's somewhat easy. But yeah, I think kudos for you to go that long with Pitocin without an epidural because I don't think I could have done that.
Yeah, but you know what? I wasn't dilating though. So
Yeah.
may that like causes like I literally slept through it for the most part.
Oh,
Of course they come in there every what 3 hours, 2, 3 hours checking on you. And then
yeah.
they could monitor the baby at the station. So they would like come in, kind of move me around, but I was asleep.
Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't as bad. That's why I'm like, I don't yeah. Kudos to you guys. Okay. uh
Yeah, it's I mean with the natural you have like you're definitely getting a different state of mind. So you're not like
mm,
unless you have like a very, very rapid birth, and that would be a different experience,
right.
So totally. Yeah, so that's how was that with healing?
You know, I guess when you don't know anything else, like I think I healed pretty quickly. I was
Yeah.
walking. I mean, I was up and moving,
Wow.
like that. Yeah, well, they tell you to like, kind of like move around too. The only thing I couldn't do like right after was I couldn't urinate, and so they needed a catheter. I had to use a catheter for like the first 12 hours, and then after that,
Yeah.
I was fine, but they kind of worried me in the beginning. But my baby latched on.
Good.
I mean, just talking about like he latched on like immediately, like right after the epidural. I'm sorry, no, not right
Right.
after the C-section.
Yeah.
Right, he latched on immediately,
Oh, nice.
so
Was
that
that
was good.
Yeah, was there any pressure with having it on your scar with like the incision? I mean, like no, awesome.
No,
That's amazing.
no, it's pretty. I think it was pretty good. Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing. Yeah, I can't imagine going through that all and then still being with it to be able to have like to latch on because I mean the first time it's such a whirlwind like when you have no idea what to expect. I didn't
Hmm.
even latch my first baby until he was 3 hours old, and now it's like, oh, there's this thing called the golden hour. You should try to breastfeed your baby right away.
Oh yeah, they put them right. Like we weren't even in the room. Like we were still like outside of the operating room,
Mm.
but like I guess like in that recovery room. I guess what they call it,
Yeah.
like in the recovery room, and then they bring them to you, and he like latched on.
Oh wow, that's amazing.
So
Wow, that sounds
yes,
like a great hospital. That's is
I truly gave yeah, I truly gave the hospital all 5 stars.
Did you have
We enjoyed it.
a lactation consultant come with you?
We did have one there. Um, I don't know. And the reason because she said, I don't know what your experience was, but she was like, don't start pumping until like 3 weeks.
Mhm.
She's like, or you'll like have an oversupply. And I'm like, I would prefer an oversupply versus an undersupply in my head. But what happened was I did listen to her, but then I went to we had to go to the pediatrician and then he was losing weight. So it
Mhm.
was worrying me. So I started like, oh, and then my milk really wasn't coming in. So I
Mhm.
started like pumping like crazy. Like I was like, forget that. And I was talking to, of course, my other friends who were moms, new moms, and they were like, no, you need to start pumping like as soon as possible, to kind of just even so it knows, and then I had a C-section, right? I think it, and I don't know, but I would say it's probably different because your body knows you've gone through labor, like
Mhm.
actually gone through the process. So it's like, okay, here's your milk. There you go. But then I think when a C-section, it may take a little bit longer because you kind of didn't do it like the natural way. So yeah, so it did take my milk, I would say maybe like a week. Like it was coming, but I still had to supplement the first go round. And again, kudos to the hospital because I was at Atrium here in Charlotte, and they actually gave me like just the liquid milk formula, and I
Okay.
kind of just supplemented with that until my milk fully came in.
Nice. Yeah, that would, so it sometimes with, if you have an epidural for a long time too, that's something because your body is so filled with so much fluid that it can
Mm-hmm.
actually be really hard to latch and you're so engorged. It's hard to get a letdown and hard to get milk flowing from the beginning. And also with your first, it can be harder because your body's not used to it. This is its first time, right? So it will be harder. It just takes a little bit longer. But with your second, I'm sure that'll be a different experience.
Yes, I'm here for all the milk
Mhm.
flowing.
Pumping earlier than what she recommended, which so there is a normal of when to recommend if you're going to pump, and it is further later, right? Because you don't want an oversupply. Did you
Yeah.
end up dealing with an oversupply at all?
No, I
Yeah.
think mine it was like just enough. And it really no, yeah. Just I think if I would have even pumped more because like it seemed like he would just only feed off of one breast at a time. So then I was like, so you mean have to take off the pump for one breast? So I'm like, so sometimes I just wouldn't do it. So I feel like I literally just got of course enough for him to,
Yeah.
latch all the time. So
Yeah.
yes. And
Yeah.
then yeah.
There's like typical advice and then there's how things are going, right? And so things change. And so you have that typical advice for like a very typical situation. And then when things are not typical, that advice would change. And so it's kind of hard because you typically don't see that lactation consultant when things are immediately not going right, right? It's like when it does become a problem. So that's so kudos for you for actually listening into your own body and some experienced moms.
Yes.
Um, that could be a very different situation if you didn't start pumping sooner. But yes, I have been that mom that pumped too soon and had an
Mm.
oversupply, and it is a pain, I will tell you.
I have her. I know it's like it's a gift and a curse, because it's like who wants to sit on the pump all day? Now, to your point, I did hire an in-house lactation
Oh,
specialist within like probably like 3 weeks.
oh,
Yeah, I
nice.
think it's probably maybe like 3 weeks to a month. It was called Cocoa Beans, and shout out to them as well because she really helped me. And the only reason why I called her in was because I just didn't know if he was latching on properly, right? Because that's a big thing too, because
Yeah.
it's not supposed to hurt. And
No.
not to say that it was, yeah, it wasn't like that it hurt, but sometimes it'd be uncomfortable. So I just need to know exactly, make sure I was doing it right, make sure he was getting enough. Cause she brings the scale. She said, okay, feed him and then puts him on the scale. So that kind of helped as well. But I did hire in-house help and it wasn't expensive. It was $200 because I don't think my insurance covered it, but I think that that's worth it
Yeah.
I think she was here for like 2 hours. So yes, so I really needed that to show me just the proper way to
Yeah, because in the
breastfeed.
hospital, it's one thing, right? And there's
Right.
a lot of things change in that amount of time. And so having that continued support is so crucial to your breastfeeding journey. Because yeah, if it's hurting, like you might not catch it when the baby's 1 day old, right? But
Hmm.
at 3 weeks and it's still hurting, there's going to be an issue. So did she find that the latch was going, there's something wrong with the latch?
No, no, she said she just showed me a better technique
Okay.
um for him to latch on my breast. And then I also want to see if he was tongue tied.
Yeah,
Is that what it's yes. Or he had twist tie, I think. Twist
it's
tie
a
the
tongue tie.
tongue.
Yeah.
tongue tie. Okay, so a tongue tie of the, and she said no. So I, again, I was just checking all the boxes that I read and heard about, things like that. So I was just making sure of that as well.
Smart. I know there's my son, my first son actually does have a tongue tie and it got completely missed, which
Mm,
so not all the time will they be able to catch it, but
mm-hmm.
it fortunately does not affect everyone. It did not affect the breastfeeding relationship at all. So
Oh,
uh,
well, good.
yeah, so it doesn't always, it's not something to totally fear, but if they are not able to get a deep enough latch, then it obviously has affect your breastfeeding relationship. So yeah, has that impacted how you're going to breastfeed your next child?
Um, no, because I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah,
I really, and then, oh, there was another thing. I liked how, again, how convenient it was as far as like the temperature, right? Because when it's frozen, or like even when you are using formula, again, nothing wrong with either one, but meaning my frozen breast milk, you have to
right.
warm it up, and then when they're screaming, at first, now, granted, my first time, I'm like, it like frazzled me, right? He's
Yeah.
hollering, and then I'm like trying to move as quickly as I can. It's just like with this, is at the right, perfect, it's at the perfect room temperature. Like you don't have to do anything. So yes, I'm looking forward to it. I mean, we bought a deep freezer for like the tall one. So we
Yeah.
have a tall deep freezer, and I bought like some organizers for that. So we have all this stuff. So I'm ready. And again, formula is expensive, okay, and they go by, man. So like I said, I had to do that towards the end, right? Because I started fertility meds. So yeah, it was not cheap. I was like, this breast milk is free. That was a huge difference, okay? Thank God
Yeah.
for gift cards for my baby shower because it is not cheap. I'll tell you
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. Some things are covered. It should be covered under your insurance, like the
I
bag
agree.
and the pump. But yeah, something like a deep freezer, that would be amazing because it does last longer in a deep freezer. And there's
Yes.
only so much you can fit in a small freezer.
Oh, and then speaking of breast pumps, did you use Aeroflow too? Because they send you the free breast pump under
Oh,
your insurance.
yes.
So
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
yes, I'll be calling them as well because I I don't know if I'm gonna go. Which one did you use? Breast pump.
So I had a Medela and then I
Mm-hmm.
used my Medela for my first and my second. And I did not realize that you get a new pump with each baby. And so,
Yes.
and huge tip, like I really wish I knew that because it was dying and I pumped a lot with my second. And with my
Mm,
third, I bought a Spectra S9. And so it was
mm-hmm.
more like a battery operated one because I knew with her I wasn't planning on pumping as often as I did with the other two. And
Mm.
yeah, I hardly ever used it. I mean, it's it's still like brand new.
Really? So which one did you like better though?
It really depends on your needs, I would say. So like if you're somebody like I found it really challenging with the Medela because it was plugged into the wall.
Yeah.
Having to pump and breastfeed and have a toddler was very challenging. So I would say something like the Spectra, I can't remember if it's S1 or 2, the one that has battery operated
I know
option.
which one. Yeah, that you can charge. See, my
Yeah.
and one of my husband's friends sent me one of those. I did like the Mandela though. I don't know what it was. I
Okay.
did like the Mandela, but no, you're right about that. Like you can, of course, move it along with you. Now, did you ever try the wireless ones?
So yeah, I haven't done the like personally. I love Willow is one of them. They
Okay.
are the
Mm-hmm.
ones that are in the bras. Those are so cool. I wouldn't say if you're exclusively pumping or you're heavily reliant on them, they're not as high demand, so they're
I
not
would, yeah.
strong. So that really depends on like again, what needs do you have? So for me, on my like fourth, that would be awesome because for me, it would be more like for date night or just something occasional if I'm out and about and I need a bottle here and there if I'm gone. But when it comes to if I was like my supply is low, I really need some like a real good motor, then
Mm-hmm.
I would not recommend a portable one in any way. You'd be stuck with like a hospital grade one and plugs into the wall. So but
Oh,
those
girl.
can be adjusted to
Mm-hmm.
have batteries. So yeah.
Listen, I use that Medela like it was a Spectrum. I'm gonna tell you that because I have a carport in my car because
Yeah.
I work from home too. So it like we were on road trips and I'm working in the car, so I already have the plug. Oh, girl, if I was going out.
Mhm.
like just hang out with my girls and I know I need to pump before I want to drink, I would be in that car on the way to my where I'm going and pumping with
Yeah,
that Modelo. Look, I was like, you shouldn't look in my car anyway, because I had like a shirt cut off, but I was still like, oh, I'm getting this milk out of me before I go to my next destination. So
that's
yes, I was plugged up in the car.
very smart. Yes, that is something good to be prepared for, to, like, pump beforehand, but also convenient and efficient, right?
Yes.
Good for
But
you.
yeah, the wireless ones just don't get. And I like you said, when you have that let down, it's just like, and then when you feel like you're getting engorged, you just need to get it off your chest. So
Yeah.
yes.
With my second, I use that Medela again. So if I was going out and about, I had this handheld, um, like manual pump. It was awful,
Mm-hmm.
truly awful. So I'm in the car,
Oh yeah.
like trying to pump
Oh.
under the shirt, and with a manual pump, it was truly awful. So don't recommend that. Again, I had a lot of trial and error,
Mm.
and I worked through them. So
What
no,
about the Haka? Did you ever use the Haka?
that is one of my favorite tools in breastfeeding of all time.
Ah, that was not my. I don't know. Maybe I wasn't using it right
I
because
would
I
say
was like,
I know people have their opinions, but I have tricks. I have tricks. And so, yeah,
okay,
I have a whole system on how to use it. And I
okay.
literally will fill a freezer using just the Haka. Like it is amazing. So, but yeah, today I'm actually going over, like, I have a live training for people, a live workshop for mamas breastfeeding, and on the last day. So today's that day, and we go over how to use the Haka. So it's
Dang, I wish I could be there because I'm going to the new edition concert after this. That's why.
well, join and watch the replay because then you'll get it.
Okay, okay, okay. I will definitely do that.
All right, so you loved breastfeeding, but then you
I
decided to
did.
cut it a bit short just because you were ready to try for another. Right.
It
Yeah,
really tugged at my heart too.
I
I
know.
cried about it. I really did. Because it was like, I cried about it. I really did because I felt like I was letting my child down. Like, it was like, how can I don't know. I felt guilty. But overall, I was like, I don't know. I don't know. It was a catch 22. But I mean, he at first it was a little rough. Maybe I would say like a week.
Mhm.
But he was always like, another thing that I highly recommend, which I'm sure you probably have, is like making sure you switch between breast and bottle. Like, don't ever just always have the baby stuck on the bottle on the breast, because then it's hard for you to even go to the store. You know what I'm saying? And somebody else, like my in-laws or something like that, my mom watching the baby, they need to be able to feed too. So
It really
um
depends on the baby and their temperament, I would say. So it really depends. Like I wouldn't say all in general to do both and giving it occasional because it really depends on the baby. But um,
okay, I got
yeah,
you.
because some will just be like, oh, this is way easier. Or they just be like, I'm never ever using this. So it really depends. It really depends. And so, yeah, there are tricks that I have on to be able to balance them both. But because it is heartbreaking when they decide the bottle's way better and then you're stuck pumping, right?
Oh yeah, oh yeah, I know. And that is a thing too. I do prefer to, yeah, I do. I wish he could just feed off of them, get all the milk off,
Yeah.
like literally every time. But clearly, when they're younger, they don't need that much. So of course, you're gonna be stuck with, one breast or whatnot. So yeah, yeah, I get that too. Because being on that pump, I no, that was dreadful. At times.
Sounds like you were
Like,
very efficient though.
yes, yes. Like I say, it was, good, but I knew I had to do it right. So I made it work. Like I'm saying, I would, like I say, be headed to places and I'm pumped and I
Yeah.
know I had like 20, I would pump between like 15, 20 minutes.
Mhm.
And I knew that's about how long it would take me to get to my next destination. So that's
Yeah,
what
you
I
were
would do. I had
yeah.
to make it work for me.
Yeah. So you talked about guilt and how it ending, but you did a really long time, I have to say, and you were prepared. Like to be able to go to 11 months is quite the accomplishment, but we all have guilt. Like it doesn't matter how far or how little, right? Because we always have our goals. But even if you met that goal and you've surpassed it, it is so hard because it is such a sweet time. Um,
It is. It is. But I do feel like his dad is like his best friend. And I just say like it, but he definitely was attached to me
yeah,
during that time.
yeah,
Which again, I know that they're gonna have their phases and things like that, but that's like his guy now, right? And they're like this. Not
yep.
that they weren't, but with me, he was like attached. But now it's just like, you know. Hey.
I
So
know.
I see but I missed it too. I miss, especially when he's waking up in the middle of the night, and I'm like, oh, I have
It's
to
such a
fix
great
this bottle. Yeah, I was like, so yes, but he actually did good with both. Like he
Okay.
didn't have any issues like going
Lucky.
from breast to bottle and bottle to breast.
Yeah.
He just like I want to eat. He didn't care. He didn't care
Yeah.
at all. He's not a picky eater.
Oh, you got lucky on that one, I guess to say.
He,
All right. So has work impacted your breastfeeding journey at all?
No, thankfully I work from home. I've been remote since before the pandemic,
Amazing. Nice. They're able to do it.
so yeah.
That's
Oh,
great.
absolutely.
Yeah. So what would you say you love about motherhood so far?
You know, I love just I just love my child. Like I love the way I guess, I mean this he smiles and I'll tell you it's hard. Yeah, as you know, like, and you have three. It is hard. And I just have one. But like I tell anybody, it's the hardest job I've ever had, but the most rewarding. Like I could be dog tired. Like the other night, we're still working on sleep. But he's doing pretty good. So again, he's such a big boy. But like even when it's those late nights and you're exhausted, like you need some rest. And I need some rest right now, as you do too, with but like even then, like you're so but at the end of the day, I'm like, this is my child, and I just have to make sure that he's okay first. Like he's always first. And
Mm,
I am so blessed to get this experience because for a while, I mean, for a while I didn't know, and I was just kind of like all up in the air, but I'm so glad like that I have this opportunity becoming a mother. It's just I don't know if it's like an indescribable feeling, but I love being a mom. Like I love being his mom. And like just the joy on his face. Um, make sure that he's good and make sure that of course he's always gonna come first. But I just love being a mom. I
yeah.
do. I love his hugs, and I love seeing his milestones. That's a big thing too. Like you're like, oh my gosh, like now we're working on using a spoon. I had to give him a bath earlier today. I'll just say that because the yogurt went everywhere. But it's just seeing those little milestones. Like now he's standing up on his own. It's like little things like that that just makes it like, oh, I just love you. Like I never knew my heart could be this big for, a little 23 pounder. Will soon will probably be a 6 foot whatever,
Yeah.
but still, it's just, yeah. I
It
just
goes so
love,
fast.
yeah. He's not saying mama yet, so I can't say I love that part. He's still saying dad,
Oh,
daddy. And he even got more sophisticated when he said dad, dad, and it was dad. Now it's daddy. And I'm like, mama, can we say mama or either ma? How about that? Yeah, no. So
excited when she does, for sure. My boys both said dad at first, and then my girl did say mom first, which I was very
mm,
excited about. But my husband was deployed at the time, so maybe
mm,
he didn't hear dad as much. I was like, "No, you're gonna say mom, mama, mom."
okay. But I'm like,
Just drilled.
right.
No one was there to say dad at first, so it was. So I made sure of it. So anyway, is there any advice that you would give a future mom that is maybe just a few steps behind you?
Oh, patience. I pray for patience before, and I feel like I did not know patience until I had my child.
Yeah.
That's very important. Um, you don't realize it, but I feel like it came naturally after he came. Um, because again, those late nights are not for the faint at heart. Okay, everybody's tired, but I would say that's a big thing. I would say yeah, really, I think it's this, but just having patience,
Yeah.
and showing yourself grace. I
Yeah.
know people say that, but like truly, it's hard, and but it's worth it. It's worth every second, every moment. It's like I love to see what they say. I love to see him go to the daycare, but then I miss him, and then I love to see him when he comes home, like that type of thing. But again, just patience and giving yourself grace. Yeah, because I have never gained this much weight in my life. And And I'll joke. I'm like, well, I'm fat, and I'm okay with it right now because I still had weight from him, and then I got pregnant again. So then it made it a little easier transition, right? But again, you give yourself grace. Everything's gonna be fine, even when it comes to breastfeeding. So when
Yeah.
do not be discouraged if you can't breastfeed. And I want people, a fed baby is a happy baby. Don't be, it was really hard on me and my friends because I also joined a Facebook group. Oh, it was like, I know you've all seen them, like it's like for mine it was like April 2023 or April 2022 baby or something like that. And so just listening or just reading different stories and things like that, and I actually got really cool with a girl there who lives here. But nonetheless, we both had like a rough time initially, you know what I'm saying? We're like, oh, we really want to do this, but our milk isn't cooperating. But at the end of the day, you can't, we literally still encourage each other to this day. And she's pregnant again too. She's doing
Oh,
July. So, but and we talk about that, but at the end of the day, it's okay. Everybody's journey is going to be different. Everybody's journey is going to be different as well. Um, so just giving yourself grace all around, from
yeah.
your appearance to, you may not be able to do this or that. Like I cook food for my babies. The next mom may not be able to do that. It may be jar food. There's not a right or wrong way.
Mm,
As long as your baby is healthy and happy, that's all that matters
yeah.
at the end of the day. I just have, like I said, I have time to do like stuff like that. So like I make all his food. Like he didn't get jar food,
Yeah.
but that's okay. And if I say that and someone's listened to it, but they don't have the time, it's fine. That Gerber food has been around for a long time, and and
It's
we're
okay.
all Gerber babies, okay? I'm pretty sure. And like my husband, he's like, I was a formula baby because when I got sad about it, he was like, I'm a formula baby. It's okay. And I'm like, but no, like But and again, just giving yourself grace all the way
Yeah.
around and patience,
Yeah.
patience.
You're so
So
hard
that's
on
my life.
ourselves.
We are. Oh, I was hard. And then I was so funny because I'm like, so me and my friend I was telling you about, I was like, this pregnancy, I'm like, it's whatever. Like, I'm so laid back. I just started, I'm like, I'm laid back. But the first one, oh yeah, I was like on pins and needles about everything. And I'm like, you know what? I've learned what that means about giving myself grace.
Yeah.
Like he's fine. I'm still overprotective now, but it's still that
Yeah.
patience and grace.
For
Yeah.
sure. Well, thank you. And where can these mamas find you?
You guys can find me at THEQC Diva on Instagram, and on TikTok, I'm at B is the key. So B is the KEA. Um, so I try to show things that are going around in Charlotte, things to do with your kids. And then I'm gonna actually start just showing like different things that I do also to hide his veggies in the food to make him still eat it.
Yeah.
So I put like I put spinach in his eggs so that he can eat a vegetable because he's not gonna eat it by himself. Trying to get him to get these sweet potatoes, but hey, that's a whole nother ball
Well,
game. But
in
yeah,
time.
so that's in time. So that's what I do. That's what I
Okay.
showcase. So yes, at the QC Diva on Instagram.
All right. I'll leave those links below too.
All right. Thank
Well,
you.
thank you so much for
Thank
joining
you,
us
Lacey.
today and sharing your experience with all of us.
I appreciate that. Thanks for having me.
Of course. Thank you
Okay.
guys for listening, and I will see you guys next week at the Early Motherhood Guide podcast. Bye.